Happy Saturday, everyone. It's Christine from Hollishandscreate. I'm back for episode 24. It's Saturday afternoon, April 24th. I have now been in my house for a month, almost. March 26th, April 24th. It's crazy how things just move along so quickly. Got my cross-stitch fuel. I have needed that every single day. Unpacking is probably 3/4 of the way done. Let me back up. If you are new to my channel, this is a channel about cross-stitch and maybe a couple other things thrown in from time to time. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back, sticking with me. Super appreciate that. You know, God bless you for that. Unpacking, 3/4 of the way done. We've had all kinds of things happen, and it's been a menagerie of weather. We had some days that were in the 70s, and then last week we had 3.5 inches of snow. That was fun. I'll insert a picture for you to see of that. But by the afternoon, maybe 6-7 hours later, it was pretty much all gone. But it was really beautiful to wake up in the morning and look out and see that. What else what have I been doing? Well, looking for a sampler wall, or maybe just a cross-stitch wall. Hung my first 2 cross-stitch. What I'm gonna have to do, I think, is I don't have any really large walls. We have a lot of windows in this house, or just short walls, or things like that where it doesn't really lend itself to creating a whole wall. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to probably add touches of cross stitch throughout the house. So I did hang my first 2. That made me feel better to have a few things like that. I got those hung this week, and I'll insert a picture so you can see that. And then a lot of digging. I did find little Redwork Pinkeep. I was very excited about that. I actually just found that a couple days ago. But I've been digging through my stash. You know, as you go into a new house, you've got to find the appropriate space for everything. And we are downsizing a little bit. We really we lost about maybe just around 300 square feet as far as the size house to house, but we lost a room, and then like an actual dedicated office, and then we lost a lot of linen space, closet space, storage, that kind of thing. So I've been trying to be very creative. I've also been, again, and I talked about this before, and someone mentioned it in a comment, about being very intentional about what I'm stitching and really looking at something to see, is this something that I want to, hang in my house or maybe give away, but really have a purpose, for it, and not chase squirrels. An example of squirrel chasing or being enabled is several years ago, there were a couple of stitchers who I chatted with quite often, who started a salve for the village at Hawk Run Hollow. And I'll kind of show you, I have my working copy in this bag. And I kind of hem-hawed about it, and then I let myself be talked into stitching it. Well, here's as far as I got. Now this is being stitched on 40 count, I believe it's weeks straw. And I got 4 of the blocks outlined, the first block stitched, I started on the second block and ran out of gas. And I think it really boils down to, I don't know that I just really loved it. I did like the first block. I didn't like the second block. I really didn't care too much for the third block. You know, and I just kind of started looking. I love Jacob's Gristmill. My friend Becky just finished that one, and I do love that one. And I liked this one with the fountain in the middle. So, you know, out of the 12 blocks, I think I really only liked maybe 3 or 4. And I just, you know, and when you don't really love something, you're probably not going to go back to it. So in the digging and everything else, I thought, you know what? I'm going to see if anyone would love to stitch this, and I'm going to pass it on. If you would love to stitch this, like I said, it is a 40 count linen, but you know, and as long as you don't critique my first block too harshly, if you are interested, you know, comment below that you're interested. And this is kind of going to be maybe my giveaway or my pass it on, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, right, for this video. So, but if you are interested, just comment and use the word village, and I'll just search by village. And if you know, if you want it, I will pass it along to you. And, you know, they'll have a little bit of a head start if you really wanted to stitch the village at some point. So, moving on, what else did I have? Well, I had several Kansas City stitchers contact me, which was really nice. A few I already kind of knew from commenting back and forth, talking back and forth through Instagram. A couple I did not know, so that was good to get those comments and welcomes, which was really nice. One, Roberta Lyle, which some of you may be familiar with her on Instagram. She and I actually had lunch yesterday, which was really nice. And she brought me the sweetest gifts. She brought me several Kansas City magazines, and then she brought me a whole bag of Kansas City themed chocolates from a really very nice chocolate store in town. And it was just so nice. I mean, it wasn't necessary, it wasn't expected, but again, you know, this community is just, you know, the best community to really, I think, be a part of. And the interesting thing is as I was kind of putting together my thoughts, because I knew I wanted to film again, as you know, I had just finished Little Deeds sampler, which of course concentrates on little deeds of kindness, right? And I just thought, well, you know, that kind of goes hand in hand with, you know, the kindness that I just experienced with Roberta. And you know, it's funny because you'll hear like other floss tubers, or even in Instagram or somewhere, Facebook, you know, people will talk about, oh, I received some stitchy kindness. And we do things like unicorn sharing. You know, so I got to kind of looking, because one of the other things that I was doing was I wanted to pull out a couple of like weekend type projects to break up some of the bigger project stitching that I've been doing. And as I went into my stash, this one jumped out at me. I really love the cereal bowl collection from Paulette from Plum Street. But this particular one, fall is kind of my favorite time of the year, and the colors really appeal to me. And this one says, be you to others kind and true, as you would have others be to you. And I thought, wow, there's really becoming a theme in my stitching, or maybe, you know, the way that I feel about my stitching right now. So last weekend, I pulled that out. Oh goodness, let me get my board. And there we go. Stitched it. I already had this kitted up. And so I was, you know, it was basically a Friday night start. and I finished it up on Sunday night. And, you know, we need to sometimes reward ourselves with you know, a quick finish, especially when you're working on projects that are, you know, that are bigger. But again, you know, I gravitated towards another chart talking about, you know, being kind. And so I thought, all right, you know what? I'm going to go into my stash and I'm going to kind of look to see what I have. Well, I have another one, Elizabeth Wendon from GGR. And, you know, this is, I mean, clearly, you know, an alphabet sampler. But the reason I bought it was because, again, it says little deeds of kindness, little words of love, make our earth and Eden like to heaven above. And she stitched it in October of 1864. And I think I've had this one in my stash for longer than, well, it's been definitely a while that I've had this one in my stash before Little Deeds Sampler from Scarlet House came out. And I thought, well, it's funny. I really love that saying. Here's another one. 2007. Cecilia from Heart and Hand. You know, she just does the sweetest designs, and especially her collector's hearts that she puts out every year. Anyway, this is Kindness Begets Kindness. Here's an older Blackbird Designs that I have in my stash. Be Kind and True. This one I love. This one's going to be on my radar. It's not going back into my box. It's going to stay out, and I'm going to see about getting it kitted up because I really love it. And that's from 2006. Then new at Expo this year from Stacy Nash was the Be Kind sampler. And look at that. Isn't that pretty? I love that flower border. Says, be kind to one another. This is a world of care, and there is enough of needful woe for everyone to bear. So I really love that one. From La-Di-Da, Kinder Than Necessary. So be kinder than necessary and love beyond measure. So, you know, those were just a few that I found in digging through, you know, some of my stash. It's a kind community, and I hope that we all strive to keep it a kind community. Our designers are definitely putting out charts and messages of kindness. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of, you know, interesting and maybe, you know, a kind of a good theme to focus on. It makes me feel good to stitch, you know, those kinds of words, and hopefully I reflect it, you know, in my everyday world. So anyway, moving on. Let's see, what have I been doing stitching wise? WIPs. Well, if you'll remember, I showed you that my April focus, one of them was the Bitter Flower sampler from Birds of a Feather. Now, I put in, only about 3 evenings on the Bitter Flower sampler. And I'll tell you why. Even though I love it, I had started it on 32 count, and I just don't stitch on 32 count very often. Though I do, let me get my board. I do like this, but I don't know. It's like once you go down to 1 thread, for me, it's kind of hard to go back to 2 threads. But there's my progress. So if you remember from my last video, I did not have any of the urn done. I finished off all of the rest of the leaves with the golden color that belonged to them. And then that's that same golden color that the urn is done in. So I got the outline of that, you know, that done. And then I went up and I was actually finishing up, so this is Caper, this green, and I think I was finishing up on a couple of stitches on a leaf and had just a little bit left. So when I do that, I try to always end with an empty needle. And so I went up and put in, you know, 3 of the letters. But So there's my progress on Bitter Flower Sampler. So I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to keep working on this in the next couple of weeks or not. I'll just have to kind of see how I feel about that one. I do want to get it done this year. Just don't know if I'm gonna work on it right now. I did mention that I actually found my little Redwork Pinkeep, which was all finished. I think I had to show you a picture. So I finished it and I FFO'd it. Now this I know was supposed to be a Pinkeep, but I decided to just make it a little hanger. This is what I did with the back. So this is what I did. So it turned out okay. It's not perfect, but I think for, you know, what my purposes are, it's going to work out just fine. So anyway, so there was my FFO of that one. Then, let's see, I showed you my finish for lesson 4. So that was exciting to get a finish. It's probably the only finish, well, I know it's the only finish I'll have for April. Then most of the last 2 weeks, I spent working on Come Into My Garden by Blackbird Designs. And here is my progress. That didn't work well. Let me put this inside here. And then that way I can just show you. So here is my progress on Come Into My Garden. Now when I showed this to you, and I can actually insert a picture so you can see. I had only done one of the corner motifs down here, I believe, and I just kind of started to come around the corner. So that's what I had done. So this is where I am now. So I still haven't found a fantastic place to film, and maybe it's the time of day. So hopefully you can see see everything, with the lighting here. But anyway, so I'm very happy with this. I'm gonna keep working away on it. I'm stitching that on, what am I stitching it on? xjudesigns, Marbled Bunny. And here's what the whole design looks like. And here are my threads. My threads are, they come off of bobbins and go onto tags whenever I put them, when I'm kitting. So sometimes if it's a skein that's been on a bobbin for a while, it'll have little crimps in it. But so they don't look quite as pretty as probably they should. And the last thing that I worked on was I found Walter, which I hadn't been able to find him for a little while. Walter is also Ann Thomas, 1854. And I was very inspired to get back to work on this. So I was really digging to find Walter. We call him Walter Wednesdays, because my friend April, who's April Heirlooms on Instagram, finished Walter and sent him off to Total Framing to be framed, and her finish is just beautiful. So here is my Walter. So I only had one Wednesday, which is this past Wednesday, of progress on him, and I was able to get the butterfly in, and I was able to stitch, finish up adding in the red here, add this section here, start on the leaves on this flowers. So I'm stitching Walter on Chocolate Milk by Hand Dyed by Steph. And I don't remember if it's 36 or 40. but I believe it's 36 count. I wouldn't swear to that. But anyway, so that's Walter. So now that he's out and I got a little work put in on him on Wednesday, he'll be out now for every Wednesday. And I'm stitching him with Becky, who's Socks for Mom. And anyway, we really enjoy it. So he's really lovely. But you can kind of see, because I have, you know, bigger samplers, why I was looking for something small to kind of stitch, just to work on and know I can get a completion in a couple of days. And then it just spurs me on to get back to, you know, one of my bigger samplers to work on, so, or bigger projects. So what else have I been doing? Well, I've been on the computer, and let me, a little more fuel here. I have some haul. Now, and I'm not even sure, you know, when you go onto Etsy, a lot of times you'll get something that says recommended for you. And I happened to, I think that's what I had, was one of those that popped up. And I saw this design. It's a download, so I have it in one of the sheet protectors. But Sweet Land of Liberty. And it's by Cherry Hill Stitchery, Deanna Carter. And she's here in Missouri. And I went into her, you know, little shop, and I just really loved this. I thought, you know, I like the font, the writing, I like the colors that, you know, it's just a simple stitch. I just really liked it. So I purchased that as a download. And then a couple days later, she sent a 10% off. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, I can definitely do, you know, 10% off. I'll go back and look again. And so I went back and I found this. Welcome with the bee. Isn't that cute? And so I downloaded that one. My lights are changing outside. And then I found this one, Jingle All the Way. Trying to get rid of that glare. Sorry about this, guys. So that was another really cute one. And her prices are extremely reasonable. So, and then with the 10% off. Anyway, so check out Cherry Hill Stitchery on Etsy. She's got some really, really cute designs. And then Samplers and Stitches, I follow her blog, and I think she maybe posted on Instagram that she had just uploaded her free summer 2021 chart. Let's see if I can get that without this glare. Ugh, sorry about this, guys. I'm gonna have to work out this lighting issue. There we go. But isn't this is the sweetest little design pillow? I thought I really like that. It would go cute into, you know, my trencher bowl, and you know, just throw out. And while I was on Etsy, I went on over to Sub Rosa Designs, and I purchased crows and pumpkins because I just love this. Love everything about this design. So got that one. And while I was at it, I wanted to hop over to Teresa's site, Kitten Stitcher, and see if she had Brenda Key's from the Sampler Company, her Sampler Motif Source Book back in stock, because I've, you know, been on there a couple of times, and you know, waiting to see if she's, you know, got it back in stock, because as soon as she comes in, it seems to go out pretty fast. And so she did, so I was able to order that. And of course, because, you know, one thing can't travel by itself, and because I'm totally hooked on anything Brenda Keys. And I think I have just almost every single one of her charts now, but I ordered Hetty Child sampler. I love that bowl. Really love that bowl. It's so pretty. And I ordered She Seeketh sampler. We've seen this verse on other things. She seeketh wool and flax and work willingly with her hands. So that verse was on one of the designs from the Sewing Club book from Blackbird Designs that just came out last year. And then, because I am a sucker for any kind of funky, weird bird, I had to order Elizabeth Isles, $17.99. So I could get this Geode Parrot. Now, interestingly enough, while I had this on order and was waiting for it to arrive, I watched Steph Webb, who's Lindy Stitches, and she has gotten this too as well. So I really love it. I don't know if I think I might only stitch the top part. Oh, hello. Sadie is once again trying to visit. Say hi, Sadie. Oh, no, she doesn't want to say hi. She wants to get up in the middle of everything, but she doesn't want to be on camera. And my other thing besides, funky birds and kindness samplers, is I'm in love with Rhode Island samplers. And so this is Sheepish Antiques, Sheepish Designs. And this one is Mary Tillinghast, 1772. So I really love when they have a story in the middle and then, the box and then everything on the sides. So get that one. I picked up April's Wordplay from Brenda Gervais. And the reason I picked this one up is not so much for the words, but I really love let me take it out so you can actually see it. I really love this guy in his wagon. So I don't know, I'm gonna think about how I want to do this, because I don't know that I want to have Easter on here, or I don't know. Easter doesn't always fall in April, so I'm gonna kind of work with that one a little bit and play with that one and see what I want to do with that. It won't come out till next year anyway at this point. So, and then I ordered a little bit of fabric. This is 40 count wheat from Fiber on a Whim. And let's see if you can see, if I can show you that color. It's kind of golden. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out this lighting. But it's really pretty, and this particular design would actually look really lovely on it. And so that's kind of what I was thinking whenever I ordered that. So anyway, so there's my haul. I did enough damage. I did actually also, which I didn't bring in the show, but I did actually also order a new table light. I'm gonna be traveling up to the Amanas in Iowa for the Midwest Cross Stitchers Retreat this coming weekend. Very excited about that. And so I wanted to have a new table light to take with me. I don't usually use a magnifier, because if I've got enough light, I can see well enough, for no problem. What I do use, if I'm for any kind of magnification on something that I need, is I have the little Carson clip-on glasses, and you can flip up and down as I need them. So that's what I use. That takes care of all my haul. Plans. Well, as I just mentioned, I'll be traveling, to the retreat, next weekend. Looking forward to that. It was supposed to be in Minnesota, which I would have flown if it was up to Minneapolis, but since it's now just in Iowa, I'm going to drive up And so I'm going to go up on Thursday. So I'm looking forward to that. It's probably about a 4-hour drive. And I'm kind of working through, well, what am I going to stitch on? Well, you know, if you follow all the rules and everything, and if you watch Brenda and Laura, you know that next weekend is first weekend in May, and so it's Stitch Blackbird weekend. Well, I've got that one covered because I still have my come into my garden, so I'm going to take that with me. That'll meet my rule, so to speak. That will meet my good gravy. What's the word I'm looking for? It'll meet the requirement for the weekend. There we go. And then my May 1st start, I just finished getting ready and kitting. I'm going to take this with me because I'm going to be up there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then back on Sunday afternoon. So I just finished kitting my memorial sampler that I want to stitch, start in May. And this is Sarah Brown, 1834. Now, Sarah Brown is a memorial sampler that she stitched at the age of 10 in memory of her brother, Joseph Brown. I apologize. She was 13, not 10. And it just says Sarah Brown made this sampler to the memory of Joseph Brown, her brother, and then it just says finished in the 10th year. Well, you know, actually on the sampler, it says finished in the 10th year of her age, September 1834. In the notes, it says in the 13th year, but I think I'll probably go with the actual picture. So 10th year, that's what I must have been looking at, and maybe think 10. So my brother, Dale, his birthday was May 1st. And he was kind of my idol growing up. And in 2006, in like February of 2006, he worked overseas as an oil driller, and he was, I think he was in Dubai, and he was overseeing the movement of a rig. And that's quite a process where they, you know, they sink them and then they float them and then get them ready. And this rig was basically being moved over off the coast of Africa. And so he was overseeing that process and got sick. And he ended up having like an emergency surgery there because they thought he had something on his spleen, or I'm not sure. It was very strange. My sister-in-law was a nurse and she was just having a fit. But anyway, they ended up getting him home, and they lived in Tennessee. So she took him to Vanderbilt, and he had liver cancer. And so the first surgery was unnecessary and probably did not help the cause at all, because once cancer tumor like that has been exposed to oxygen, it actually ends up rapidly causing more growth. And so anyway, he succumbed and passed away May 22nd. So we only had about 3 months notice. And he had just turned 49 on May 1st. So I thought May was an appropriate month to start this for him, since he was born and passed in the month of May. The colors are just right up his alley because he built a log home in Tennessee, and it was very rustic. He loved that very natural, and the colors for this, I'm going to be stitching it on Dirt Road by Seraphim, and the colors, with the exception of this blue, everything is really very rustic, very, you know, natural looking. And so I think that he would love this. And so since it does have, and I know that there's some you know, what should you do when it's a reproduction. I am obviously not going to put Sarah Brown in there and Joseph. I'm going to change the, you know, put my name and my brother's name in. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch down in the bottom part that this was an original, you know, an antique reproduction for Sarah Brown. And that way, I'm giving tribute to her, so that also if at some point somebody was to see it, they would realize that I changed a sampler. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing. That's going to be my May 1st start. So that will travel with me up to the Amanas. And then I think, since Paulette is going to be the designer there for the retreat, I'm going to take, let me get this out here. Grace on Thee. This was a Dying to Stitch kit that I had gotten from the Kindred Spirits Club when it was still going. So Grace on Thee. And I have just a kind of a modest start. But I think, let me get my board. I think, and it needs to be ironed, it's been folded up because I just pulled it out. But I think that if I go ahead and continue filling, you know, working on the outlining of the bricks, this would be a really good one for sitting and chatting and stitching, because I can do a lot of this outline before I go, and then it's just a lot of fill-in work. And then I won't be maybe tempted to, you know, make so many counting errors and things like that because I'm yapping. So anyway, so I think that's my plans, at least for the next 2 weeks. And I'm just really looking forward to this, you know, this retreat, a little bit of a break. And anyway, so there's that. So last but not least is I promised everybody, let me dig out my stuff here, a giveaway. And I had asked what your favorite, or if you had a special souvenir or something like that. And I will tell you, I think I had 176 comments. And it was the best response that I've had to a video to just read through. I really loved everybody's responses. And it was so interesting because there was one lady who responded with the exact kind of story that I have as far as what it would be if I had to think of what would be my best souvenir from a trip. And it cracked me up when I read it. I was like, oh man, she you know, had my exact souvenir. We each went on a trip and we each came home with a souvenir that was realized 9 months later. Beautiful baby girl. My Savannah was my souvenir from a trip that my husband and I took for our birthdays. Our birthdays are just 2 days apart. He's 2 days older than I am, in October. And we had driven down into Arkansas, to this little village, Eureka Springs, and had rented like a bed and breakfast and just had a really nice, you know, really nice weekend away. My oldest daughter at that time was just like 1.5 years, and then my parents took her for us, and we got away. And then lo and behold, next July 1st, I've got Savannah. So that would have been my story for my best souvenir, which just cracked me up when I read you know, that her comment was the same souvenir. But anyway, thank you so much for responding with your great stories. Some people have really unique souvenirs. Some people love their pictures. I mean, it was really interesting reading through the comments. And so if you ever want to, you know, take it, you know, want to just read through, just it's kind of interesting to see what people collect. But all that to say, I had promised Souvenirs of Summer, the new re-release of this book from Blackbird Designs, along with a set of thread tags, and then a little bag. to go with it. So I put all that in, and I did the random comment picker, and Trinka King was the winner. So congratulations, Trinka. So I was very excited to see her response, and I'm inserting a picture of that. And congratulations again, Trinka. I have your mailing address already, so you don't even have to worry about emailing me, and I'll get that out to you on Monday. So if you are interested in taking over my orphaned village of Hawkrun Hollow, or abandoned, I don't want to say orphaned, abandoned village of Hawkrun Hollow, be sure to comment below, use the word village. I don't know if I consider it a giveaway or anything like that, but don't use, B18, don't use the word freebie or giveaway or something like that. You might just want to say you want to adopt my, my village of Hawkrun Hollow. And, hopefully if someone is interested, I'll, be very happy to pass that along. I'd rather that it got stitched than trying to, I don't know, just trash the whole thing. I just hate to do that. So anyway, it's been good visiting with everybody. Hope you're doing really well. It's a beautiful afternoon here. It's like 66 degrees this afternoon and bright. So I think I might go out for a walk this afternoon, kind of get out of the house a little bit, and then come back and have a little dinner and do some stitching. Hopefully I can get this uploaded for your viewing pleasure. And take care. Make sure you fill up on your cross-stitch fuel, and make sure to create every day. All right, take care. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.